Hey, how's it going, guys? Tatoha Debe here. Welcome back to another video. Thank you very much for tuning in. So let's talk about the year 2020. It's been a strange year, to say the least. As a world, we've had to face this COVID-19 pandemic, and a lot of people have unfortunately lost their lives. A lot of people have unfortunately lost their jobs, and the world saw this unprecedented event take place, and a lot of us have had to change the way we do things in order to survive. And that is something that was seen throughout the whole world. Everyone was now starting to use Zoom to have their meetings, to even be talking to family, because as we were not allowed to leave our houses due to the lockdown. And the lockdown was obviously not only in South Africa but everywhere else in the world. You were required to stay at home in order for you to be able to flatten the curve so that we can save as many lives as possible. So a very strange year, to say the least. I mean, I even grew out my hair a little bit, and now I cut it again. I'll probably grow it out again, by winter time. I cut it now because of the heat of summer. But besides all of that, a lot of things were tested. Human spirit was tested. The way that you conducted your life on a daily basis was tested, and the same thing had to happen in business. So despite all of that, at TRJ, I think our year was a decent year, considering what was happening. And for this video, I wanted to just give a little recap and a review of what we did as TRJ in the year, and all of the other achievements that we have done for this year, and kind of looking forward to the next year and seeing what else we can do moving forward. So the beginning of the year started a bit slow, as was expected because of the coronavirus pandemic. And this wasn't surprising because a lot of people were not really focused on getting anything luxurious or getting anything that wasn't outside of, saving their lives. So I wasn't surprised with that. And when we entered our lockdown level 5, which was towards the end of March of 2020, I wasn't very hopeful for the year, if I'm honest. But I was pleasantly surprised as the months went on that, we got some clients and we were able to make some sales. So that did make me very happy. As soon as level 5 lockdown hit, we were then having to look for other things to keep ourselves occupied with. And I just wanted to keep my creative juices flowing. And also, being an academic, I was required to do work that was speaking towards creative production, and I was out looking for things to do. So the very first piece of work that I did was actually towards my creative production at work, and I entered a competition called the Inibos National Craft Awards. It was open to any creative person in the country, and we were required to make a piece speaking to our discipline that was anything that you found of interest. So it was very open-ended, and I found that quite nice because it gives you the creativity and the freedom to do anything that you want. So my piece, I made a ring that was speaking towards the situation that the world was facing. So you'll see that the ring is made to replicate or to resemble the COVID-19 virus as it has been illustrated. So if you look at what the COVID-19 virus looks like, you'll see that I took that as inspiration to create the ring itself. So the top part of the ring has the little spikes that are coming out of it. So the spikes are made out of just plain silver wire, and then I also have twisted wire, which is silver and copper sticking out. I did that just to create some contrast because I thought that would look quite interesting. Instead of the whole piece being silver, I wanted to have that bit of a contrast. So I wanted to look at, this very negative thing that we're facing and turn it and flip it to hopefully make it look like something that is beautiful, so that whatever it is that we are kind of facing, we can look at it in a different light. Because for every negative, I believe there is a positive. Even though we were going through something that was killing the world and putting us in a situation that we were not comfortable with. We always have to look at the positive, and making something beautiful that isn't is my way of kind of doing that. So that was the first piece that I made. And then thankfully, you know, a few weeks later, I was noticing that people online were starting to get engaged. And this was a good sign. You know, as I said earlier on, the human spirit was also tested a bit. So when I say this is a good sign, the people that were getting engaged this year had planned to get engaged this year anyways, despite what was happening. So it was good to see that people were not wavering from their plans and, you know, continuing with life. And that is very important, so that you also don't feel like you are a victim, or you feel like things are just happening to you. You know what I mean? So I got a call from a friend of mine telling me that he's getting married, and he wanted me to design and, you know, make his wife's engagement ring. And I was very happy to do that for him. So the design process happened over, I think it was a 4 or 5 week process where we were going back and forth, him changing certain ideas and me giving him advice and so on. And we eventually ended up with this creation. This is a 9-carat white gold diamond cushion engagement ring. And the way that we came to this solution is he wanted something that was timeless and something that, you know, will not go out of style, because the idea that he had initially, he was fearful that it would eventually run its course and not be as timeless as something that what we came up with. And I understand where he's coming from, because you don't want to now just make something and then, you know, 10-15 years down the line, when you look at it, you're like, why was I even trying to do something like this? It was more of a fad. So he wanted something that was a bit more timeless and something that could stand the test of time. And then we ended up, you know, coming to that design. And I think the way that it came out, especially the way it looks once the sun hits the diamonds, I got to see his now fiance wearing the ring, and she was also very excited. So I think we did a very good job with this one. So yeah, that was the second piece that was made. And then the next piece was a request from my cousin of mine, who wanted a circle pendant made for her. She sent me a picture of what it is that she was looking for and said, Tato, I need you to please help me out with this, because she's somebody that wanted something that was elegant and you know, simple. So this piece is not new to you guys. You guys have seen it before. Those of you that haven't, I will have it linked down below, because I did, as I say, I had the full process of how I made this piece in a previous video of mine. So please do have a look at that if you haven't seen the video before. So basically this is just a sterling silver pendant. As I said, it's a circle pendant, and I had some cubic zirconias set on the front of the pendant. And then, just as a bit of a twist for her, this is something that she wasn't expecting, I decided to add the loop at the top where the chain goes through, and then I also had the cubic zirconia set in the loop itself. That part she wasn't expecting, but I thought, let me do something, you know, as a surprise for her. As I said, if you want to see the whole process of how this piece was made, I will have it linked down below as well. And then the next piece that was made was another engagement ring. So with this piece, we decided to go with another variant of gold. So the previous one was a white gold. So for this one, the client wanted a rose gold ring. And again, the design process happened, this time it didn't happen as quickly as a previous client. With this client, it happened over a few months. And again, that's okay with me, as long as at the end of the day, the client is happy with what they're getting and we're able to get the piece that they want. I'm happy to take as long as it takes. Obviously, there are things that you have to take into consideration, like, you know, the diamond and the gold price does fluctuate over the few months, and the clients do understand that. But as long as it takes, is as long as it takes, you know. So this ring, it's 9-carat rose gold solitaire engagement ring. So at the side, we've also got some diamonds that are set over there. The diamond itself, is a 0.7 carat diamond, and the diamonds on the sides are 0.025 carat. And you know, I think this is one of the pieces. I posted this up on my social media Instagram page, which is also linked down below if you wanna follow me down there. And this got a lot of reaction from people. People were very supportive and liked what they saw with this piece, and I was also quite happy with the way that it turned out at the end. This was also a very, very nice piece for me to make, and the client was also very happy. I got to see the client's wife's face when she got the ring, and she was also very happy. And you know, that's when you know that it's a success. I speak a lot about setting. Just on a side note, I don't do my own setting. Although I can set, I prefer not to. So I do outsource all my settings to somebody else to do it, who you know, does setting full time. The reason why I do that is I'd rather give it to somebody who has more experience and, you know, does this on a full-time basis, to make sure that the stones that are being set are 100% secure without me having any worry of the stones falling out. That's the one thing that you don't want to do. You don't want a client coming back to you because a piece was set incorrectly and the stone falls out, because credibility is everything in this industry. So if stones keep falling out, then the client will not be taking you seriously. And then the next piece that I made was a 9 karat gold bangle. So what the client wanted for this piece is, she wanted something that, again, as with what I'm finding from a lot of my female clients, they prefer very simple and elegant pieces, and that was the brief that she gave to me. She wanted something that wasn't going to completely stand out, but at the same time it needs to be a sort of a wow piece that when somebody does have a look at it quite closely, they can see the little details on it. So the only brief that she gave me was she wanted it to be a gold bangle. So I you know, came up with a few ideas, sent her some things that I thought could quite work with that, and then eventually we ended up on this pattern. So basically what it is, it's a solid gold bangle, and I added some detailing on the outside of the bangle. The way I made the detailing is I used my saw frame and my triangle needle file, as well as my ball burr, to create those circles that you see on there. So with the saw frame, I would cut into the metal, and then with my triangle needle file, I would go in there to try and neaten it out and to open it up a little bit more so that it is more visible. And then I made sure that they were all equally spaced all the way around the bangle, and then the same thing with the little circles that you see there. I really enjoyed making this piece as well. She was also very excited for it, especially because it was complimentary of all the other pieces that she has. I saw her post it up on her social media along with all the other jewelry that she's got, and I could see that this was the look that she was going for based on all the other jewelry that she has. So I was very happy to make this for her as well. And then something really cool happened in November. Well, it happened a few months before. We were kind of leading up to this thing that was happening in November. Myself and my business partners from the SA Jewelry Week, who were the ones that were involved in this, were given an opportunity to display work, South African jewelry work, to be displayed at the New York City Jewelry Week event. Now, this was a very big opportunity for South African jewelry, because the people at the New York City Jewelry Week got wind of what we were doing, and they were very excited to see the work that we were producing, and they invited us to be able to showcase the work that we're doing in South Africa for basically the world to see. So I'm mentioning this specifically here, even though it's not a TRJ thing, because myself personally, I was also one of the jewelers that was displaying work in the event. So you'll see that the piece it's a neck piece, and of course it's very contemporary. So the piece is made up of miniature Sutu hats that were hanging from a leather belt, which is worn around the neck. And I've got those miniature hats that are hanging on the front. And if you look very closely at the piece, the hats are made up in two ways, using two materials. So the first one is a traditional grass woven hat, a miniature one, and then the ones underneath it, so they alternate. It's the grass hat, and then underneath that I had a hat that was printed using a polymer resin, photopolymer resin, excuse me. And I was basically looking at the fourth industrial revolution in relation to craft and how the two can kind of meet. And I wanted to display something that was of me and my culture, which is why I decided to make them miniature and that you also wear them in an unconventional way. Obviously, hats are meant to be worn on your head, but in this case, I wanted to make something that is worn in an alternative place on the body, which is also something that speaks to contemporary jewelry. You know, so I made these miniature hats that were printed, and then I had the other miniature hats that were made traditionally using grass. And then in November, alongside the New York City Jewelry Week event that was happening, I got an email from somebody looking for a spinner ring. Basically what a spinner ring is, it's a ring that is made up of two parts. It's the inner band and then there's an outer band on top. So the outer band is meant to spin it's meant to spin while obviously the inner band stays still. So the client didn't want anything specific on top of the where the spinner ring was. They just wanted it to be plain. But the important part was the engraving that was on the inside. I won't share too much about what the engraving means because I think it's a personal thing to them. But this was also a very nice piece to make because of the spinning mechanism part of it. It's something that I've done before, not too many times, so I really did enjoy the challenge, especially because you wanted to make sure that the ring on top isn't too close to the ring on the inside, because if it's too close, it's not going to spin quite as comfortably. And the challenge was also making sure that there isn't any visible solder seams, to make sure that the ring looks as flawless as possible. And I think by the end, the client was quite happy with the way that the ring looks, and the spinning part of the ring worked quite nicely. So I was very happy with the way that this one came out too. And then the last piece that we made was 3 weeks ago for a client of mine. And you know, this chain was, the way that we came about to deciding on this chain is he saw me wearing a chain similar to that at a party that we were at in, I think it was February of 2019. We were both at the same party. We met through a mutual friend, and when he saw me wearing these chains, you know, we were speaking, and then I told him, no, I made this chain. And obviously, as with a lot of people that meet me, they were like, what, you make jewelry? That's quite interesting. Can you make me something? So that conversation happened then, and we hadn't spoken about anything up until he contacted our mutual friend, wanting my numbers because he was now finally ready to get something made. So when we spoke, he told me, no, I remember at the party you were wearing these chains, but I want something similar to that. But this time he didn't want it in gold, he wanted it in silver. And you know, the story was quite simple. This was a very easy process in terms of the design process or getting to the final product. This one was the most simplest one because I knew exactly what I was looking for. So there wasn't, we literally had, I think it was 2 conversations, and we came to a conclusion of what it is that he was looking for. I made the chain for him, and he was very happy with the way that it looks, and I was also very happy with the way that it looks. It isn't too flashy, but when you are wearing it, you can definitely notice that, you know, this is a boss's chain. You know, it's not something, it's not understated. And you know, he was very happy, and I was also very happy with the way that the chain came out. Now, along with all the the jewelry that we were very thankful to be able to make in 2020. TRJ also had some achievements that we were able to hit throughout the year, and I want to speak about those as well a little bit. I think the very first one was starting this YouTube channel. When I started this, and it was in my first video, I did say that this is a channel that I am starting to be able to document my jewelry journey as a businessman. And also at the same time, I want it to be a place where people can come to be able to learn a little bit more about jewelry and how jewelry gets made, and just kind of the runnings of a jewelry business. And you know, this will be my 15th video, and I started in June, July is when I posted my first video. So that's, you know, maybe just under 2 videos a month or so, and I'm very happy with that. And we're sitting on 50 subscribers as of me posting this video. Hopefully we can get to a lot more than that. And you know, I think being able to just basically start this channel is one of the big achievements of the year for TRJ, because it is giving people an opportunity to see what it is that we do, and it is a marketing tool, and it gives my business the credibility that we all are looking for as jewelry designers. If people can see the work that you're doing and the quality of work that you're doing, then they won't have any issue coming to you if they do require any jewelry to be made. And also, it's also very important to me and just jewelers in general, for South African jewelers in general, for you to basically buy local. You know, we don't want to see people depending a lot on exported jewelry. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but there's so much talent and so many capable jewelry designers in the country that there shouldn't be a reason for you to be buying outside of local. So this channel hopefully will be able to push that agenda for people to be able to see what jewelry designers in South Africa can do. And then number 2, in terms of achievements for TRJ, was basically refurbishing our workspace. The previous video, the video before this one, is me speaking about the TRJ studio upgrades. I'll have that also linked down below if you want to have a look at that. You'll basically see the before and the after. And all of these upgrades that you see are thanks to the work that we were able to do this year. So if it wasn't for the clients that we got for this, that we got this year, those upgrades were not going to be possible. Being able to get the clients that I got and look at where we started all the way up until where we are right now is testament to how, you know, when you work hard enough and you just kind of put your head down and, you know, put everything into your craft, there is no reason why you shouldn't be able to achieve anything that you wanted to achieve. So yeah, that's basically me, man. I just, you know, the year 2020 was a tough one, and we managed to get through it. Very, very sad, you know, that we lost a lot of people due to the pandemic. Very, very sad that people lost their jobs. And you know, the only way you can get through this is to basically put your head down, focus on your future, and, you know, rebuild again. If you find yourself in a position where, you know, you lost your job, just put your head down, focus, and grind it out. I promise you it will get better. Everything that you do, you need to basically keep doing it in order for yourself to improve. It will definitely get better. And I know we're still in the middle of this pandemic. Even this will pass, and then you'll see there'll be light at the end of the tunnel. So, you know, just in closing, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that has supported us this year or last year. Thank you so much for all the clients. Thank you so much for everyone that is viewing. that has watched these videos. There will obviously be plenty more to come, and I hope you guys are enjoying this journey as much as I am. And yeah, to a successful 2021. There'll be a lot more videos coming through, obviously. We do have some plans for the channel as well. I want to post more frequently than I am, just to keep myself, you know, motivated and on my toes as well. So there will be a lot more content coming, and until we meet again, thank you so much. We'll speak again soon.